Whenever I read the Bible, I ask myself three questions. Who is writing? To whom are they writing? Why are they writing? What they are writing. Now, we know that the author is Paul, and at the time he wrote this book, he was a prisoner in Rome. And of course, we know that he is writing to the church at Ephesus. Ephesus was located south of Smyrna and west of Laodicea, and was located next to the Mediterranean Sea, directly east of Athens. But more importantly, why did Paul write his letter to this church? Well, he wrote what he did in order to address a very specific problem. You see, this was a church that was plagued by false theology, and most of it stemming from the worship of Artemis. Here's what you need to know. The Temple of Artemis was considered to be one of the 7 great wonders of the world. It was 4 times the size of the Parthenon in Athens, and people from all of, over the known world would travel to Ephesus to worship at the Temple of Artemis. As such, Artemis worship made for good business as merchants sold gold and silver statues of the goddess. Okay, but what does that have to do with the church at Ephesus? Well, the problem was the female Christian converts brought a little bit of Artemis with them. You see, under Artemis, women had a lot of power and authority because it was a religion led by women. Now, they aggressively promoted the Artemis myth that it was the goddess who first created women, and then later, she would create men. Now, based on this myth, they thought that it was women made in the image of Artemis who were superior to men. Now, this led to the promotion of the idea that it was Adam who sinned first and not Eve. Because of this false doctrine, these women were trying to exercise a religious authority over all the men in their church, and it was tearing the church apart. Now, added to this, these women sought status and power over other women through their wealth and their looks. You see, worshippers of Artemis would braid their hair in such a way as to look like Artemis. But not only that, they would weave gold and pearls into their hair so as to flaunt their wealth and beauty for all to see. The bigger the braids, the more wealth you had, combined with how beautiful you were, and your status among women, well, it was secured. Now, these women were trained to be assertive, competitively vocal, and well-versed in their religion. In other words, they engaged in arguments and debate in order to see who would stand out and control the church. So, what is Paul's solution to the problem? Well, it's the same as we find in Jesus' letter to this church in the book of Revelation. They need to return to their love for Jesus. First, he reminds them of who they were before they met Jesus, how it was that Jesus saved them, and then he reminds them of who they are in Christ. Make no mistake, Paul doesn't pull his punches. He makes sure that his audience understands what it means to live and to act like Jesus. By lifting up Jesus, Paul seeks to inspire this church to practice unity in Christ, unity as a family, unity through mission, and in everything, to practice love. Thank you for joining us. We're looking forward to studying this quarter's lesson with you and our journey together in the book of Ephesians.